3-1. It's been a horrible year, hasn't it, for City so far? Let's hear from Pep Guardiola.
Difficult situations. We lose a ball. And we're there and make a transition. They are fast, and sometimes you react. I don't know. It's a little bit soft in the second one, but that's what it is. But at the moment 3-1 after 1 minute, you make it. Everything is a little bit against. That for many things, especially when we start in the New Year's Eve when. In Sunderland, we miss what we miss, and after start to make injuries, and Mateus for a flu cannot eat. So many things is against, and in that level, in Champions League or United or in the top level, always is a little bit more difficult to have the consistency that we had during 1 or 2 months that we were set even games winning and being there. Now, okay, we lost important players and we lost a little bit, but in general, the tone of the team was much better than the last one.
So take a look at what's been going on for City in 2026. Just the 2 wins, that was in the Carabao Cup against Newcastle, and that 10-1 thrashing of lowly Exeter. Apart from that, they have really laboured, struggled in front of goals, struggled defensively as well. For Bodo Glimt, obviously, they are very much in dreamland as they get their first win in the Champions League to take them up into 27th in the table.
Fair.
Let's welcome in Frank Leboeuf, and just about on time, Stuart Robson joins us. We'll be hearing from them in a moment.
Don't upset him.
He's upset already.
A little angry before we came on air. He said the sending off was soft. It wasn't. It wasn't soft. The only thing soft is his defence at the moment. United could have scored 5 against them. Bodo Glimt could have scored 5. There was 1 chopped off for offside. It was tight, was offside. There was another one where they hit the bar. Yes, they were down to 10 men. But I don't want to hear. I'm fed up. I don't want to hear excuses. Well, Matheus Nunes had the flu, and we have. I know you've got injuries. Well, don't. You've gone out and spent again. You brought Mark Gay in from Palace, but don't go and buy Semenya for 60-odd million. You got Mamouche, you got Foden, you got Cherki, you got Doku, you got Tijani Reinders who can play in several positions. Go and buy 2 centre halves. If it's that bad, go and buy 2 centre backs. Don't go and buy Semenya and spend the money there. Right, to just buffer up all these attacking options that you've got, and you can't keep clean sheets. And also, if I played a game if we played a big Manchester derby at the weekend, right, and we were young players, and my manager took me off, my chin's on the floor. Young Elaine, he says, and by the way, Kusanov's not much better, but the youngster looked fragile. Right, and I would never slaughter a young player for coming into a team and making mistakes. But what did you expect putting him back out there, away from home, on one of those sort of hybrid pitches, freezing cold, against a side that it's their big moment, playing Man City, Erling Haaland's back in town, the bags of money team have turned up, he's put the young player back out. Yeah, he's short of numbers, Ake's on the bench though. And the youngster's made 2 mistakes again. Yep. So he's kind of chucked him back in there with the Wolves. And they've been burnt. So I just don't think Man City and Pep Guardiola are making very good decisions at this moment in time.
We spoke about the Manchester derby, Erling Haaland, pretty much anonymous in that. We kind of the boys gave him a pass saying that he's just not getting the supply at the moment. He's not getting the balls. You take a look at his form of late. He's really struggling to find the back of the net. I think it's 1 penalty in 9 games. How much blame do we put on the striker? How much do we put the blame on the supply?
Well, there is blame to the supply, and he is a player that does need that supply. But there were a couple of chances today. When the game was 2-0, and as we mentioned in reference, he's able to get ahead of the defender, puts good contact on the ball, and it should be on target.
It's like your minutes per goal,
And let me just say, for the record, that's not very good. That's not very good. What I would say about Erling Haaland is that early on in the season, we're talking about, well, look, if it's not Erling Haaland scoring the goals, then where are the goals going to come from? And we can ask this very same question right now. If Erling Haaland is not scoring the goals, then where are the goals going to come from? And they're not coming from anywhere else. And so all the focus is on Erling Haaland, and rightfully so. He is who he is, and he's an elite striker, and we should demand and expect more from him. But the service is not there. The quality of play in the attack right now for Manchester City is not there. The quality of passing is not there. The quality of possession is not there. So often we talked about this team struggling in moments of transition defensively. Well, it doesn't happen by accident. The starting point to this lack of defending in transition moments comes from the fact that they're turning the ball over in bad areas. So there are issues. Of course, when we focus on Erling Haaland, we're going to say, well, he's not scoring goals. All right, fine. Put that aside. That's not the only thing that is going wrong. And while Max Alena today had difficulties, so did Rodri. So it's not only the young guys that are struggling, the old guys are struggling too. The struggles right now for Manchester City are across the board.
Just a quick one before we go to the boys. I've got a beef about this with Man City, with this spending all this money and a manager making excuses. For all those defensive things we talked about and who they may have signed and should have signed and who they have, Akanji's still a Man City player. He's in Italy on a loan that I believe had a recall if they needed, and they do need, whether they want Akanji long-term or not, well, they obviously don't. And he was asked about this a couple of weeks ago when it was falling apart at the seams, and he said, no, we won't be calling. He's doing pretty well in Italy, by the way, Akanji, at this moment in time. And Guardiola said, no, we won't be calling Akanji back. That's fine. I don't want to hear any excuses. Yeah. If you've got a player who's on your books, he's an option, you don't want to call him back, and you're signing forward players, there's no excuses.
It's not an anomaly, is it? We've seen this from Manchester City too much over the last few weeks, Robbo.
Yeah, there was lots of things wrong with their play today, and the two guys in the studio have just mentioned all that. But I'm going to pick up on something else. He played Ait Nouri at right back, and the outball throughout the first half was Ait Nouri because Cherchi was taking the fullback in, and the switch of play was on. And he must have had the ball more than any other Manchester City player on the pitch in that first half. He was the outball, but being a left-footed player, he wasn't quite sure. He had to come back, he had to go back into midfield, and it completely stopped crosses coming into the box. So why did he play him at right back when he could have played Lewis at right back? He could have played him at left back. He could have then played the left back into midfield. So he got his tactics all wrong as well. But going back to the lack of energy, you know, we were hoping that Rodri would come back and sort of show the quality that he had done before. We did it, and when he came on as a sub, I think against Sunderland, and we all said, oh, maybe Rodri's back. Today, he looked like the player that has just come back from an injury a year ago, where he couldn't run. That's why he committed the 2 fouls, is because he couldn't run. For the goal that you just saw, somebody went past him with ease, and he can't control the middle of the pitch. So they were slow in the middle of the pitch. Reinders was making forward runs and then couldn't get back. Rico Lewis kept on making forward runs and didn't get back. If you're going to go and press the ball when the goalkeeper's got it, and I understand that, and the midfield players are pressing on, when the goalkeeper kicks it beyond you, you have to recover. But every time the ball went forward into the front players, the midfield players of Bodo Glimt got there first, and the Man City midfield players were too slow in reacting. That's just poor play all round by the manager and the players.
Frank Leboeuf.
Yeah, that's a very good question, Dan. No, the thing is that I really think that everything has to be reset from Pep Guardiola. We all know that it needs to have the position of the ball, where we all know that it's belonged to the past. And he has to change his way of thinking. I mean, it's easy now to play against Manchester City. You just wait, because nothing's going to happen. They're going to turn around and turn around. Only Cherki tried something today, didn't hide from anything, but the others, they were so slow. You could guess everything they were doing. And Bodo Glimt just had to wait. And it's what they did, and score in counter-attack. So you have to rethink your philosophy of football, otherwise you're going to be smashed, and it doesn't work anymore. Yes, you have young players at the back, but if you maybe start from asking your player, your midfielder, to ask the ball vertically and to space up the game, maybe you will put your centre-backs less in danger. So everything today was wrong, from the goalkeeper to the striker, but especially from Guardiola. And he can find any excuses. That's his tactic, which doesn't work anymore.
Some interesting quotes after the game. Everybody very much loving Vinicius Jr. This is what he said. The last few days were very difficult for me, for getting booed, for everything they said about me. I only want to be in the spotlight for what I'm doing on the pitch and for what I've done for this club, nothing else. We need to feel the fans' support to get things back to normal. If we're united, we can win a lot of things this season. We're a family.
Family who've just had a big divorce.
Exactly.
And the divorce was the manager.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that. How much? I don't know where to start with this. Where shall we start? Because it's Monaco.
I'll tell you where to start.
Go on.
Anything these players say at the moment is nothing more than balderdash.
Okay.
Absolute nonsense. They need to. They've won 2 games, right? What, Levante?
Yes.
And is this inspired Real Madrid, or are Monaco just guff?
Okay.
I don't know. I don't really care. What are they going to do between now and the end of the season? Because this is just words. Are they going to turn up for Arbeloa? Or are they going to be the Xabi Alonso team that did what they wanted? And on the you can't judge it on 2 games, but it certainly seems that they're all happy that Mr. Alonso has gone and everything's well in the world. And, you know, what was the other ones? Vinny just needs some love from everybody.
Yeah,
and Jude Bellingham talking about the truth and all that. At the end of the day, it'll all come out in the wash. I think everybody's a bit fed up. I think a lot of people are just kind of fed up with a lot of this talk and just want to see what these players are going to do on the field between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, I think that's what Real Madrid fans want, is consistency.
They want to see a Real Madrid team that can sustain what they did today.
Yeah.
And to see it far more often, and to see it particularly at Santiago Bernabeu all the time. Now, you only have to go back to the weekend and the first half against Levante, where everybody was getting booed, not just Vini Jr., because of how terrible the team had been. Now, they go on to win that game, and what I think is really important for Real Madrid is that Barcelona then lost to Real Sociedad. Because then, all these vibes that were not with Real Madrid, they have seemed to have come back. This positive energy, the factual reality that they are only 1 point behind Barcelona in La Liga. Barcelona does them a favor. They lose against Real Sociedad. Real Madrid now come into Santiago Bernabeu having won their last match against a very vulnerable Monaco team. And then from the beginning, you saw a different version of Real Madrid. And we must say that it's noticeable so because of the intensity and energy with which they were running around and pressing the ball. And I'm not just talking about the first half. I'm talking about late in the game where they're up 4-0 and they're still pressing the ball. And the last couple of goals they scored, it comes from sliding challenges higher up the field, which you don't often see, and we haven't often seen this year. It's part of what Xabi Alonso was trying to bring to this team and wasn't happening. So when you see this, 1, you know they're capable of doing it. 2, if you're a fan of Real Madrid, you want them to sustain it over time. And that will be the big question.
And I suppose, Rob, we've got to be positive here because we haven't really seen this from Real Madrid all season.
Yeah, I don't think they did it in the first half, although they were leading in the first half. They scored the early goal.
I'm trying to be
Monaco had a lot of
positive,
time on
Robbo.
the ball, and one of the... I'm going to come to the positive bit. But what Monaco tried to do was play and send their fullbacks high and be a team that are going to go and attack Real Madrid. But what it did leave was them open at the back. And if ever there's players that can make the most of that, it's Vini Jr. and it's Bellingham making runs from midfield and Mbappe just running down the sides of people. The energy of Valverde when he broke forward. Camavinga playing at left back, broke forward on several occasions. If there was a side to pick to play against Real Madrid in this game, it was Monaco, the way they played. Then it weren't like Levante who sat back and said, go on, how are you going to break us down in this first half? Against Levante, I don't think Real Madrid hardly had a shot in the first half because they didn't know how to break Levante down. Today, it was made much easier for them, but what they did was when they did have the counter-attacks, when they did win the ball back and when they did play it forward, they did it with intensity, they did it with quality. And what you saw was the skill of Vini Jr, you saw the skill of Mbappe, which we know they've both got, and you saw more forward runs from Jude Bellingham, who was better today than he was in midweek, on the weekend. And the likes of Camavinga looked as though he played with more confidence. It was a much better performance, but had Monaco been a better side and been better defensively, it could have been a different story.
And we've had a lot of love, Robbo, from players after their game for Vinicius Jr, saying this is what he gets when he gets a lot of love, he gets the support from everybody. Is that something you're on board with?
Well, if a player is playing well and he's working hard, he needs to get the love off the other players and off the crowd. If he's not playing well and he's not working hard enough and he's sniping to the chairman about the manager, then he shouldn't get any love. And the crowd were right to boo him because he's part of the reason that Alonso probably didn't succeed. But if he starts playing well again and he starts showing the right sort of side of his game and he works hard and he closes people down, as Ali just said, which they did in the second half, then the crowd will get behind him. It doesn't take much to win the crowd over when you're a good player.
I'm on board with him just getting on with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just get on with it. get out there and roll your sleeves up and do your job. Just get out there and do your job. Never mind all this love nonsense. Just go in that field and apply yourself properly. And if we're being honest, he hasn't done that.
No.
He didn't do it for Xabi Alonso. He didn't apply himself properly for that manager. So just get out there and do your job.
And if you're into messages, Vini Jr. scores his goal and goes straight to Arbeloa. That wasn't happening with Xabi Alonso.
But how long will it last?
Well, yes, of course. And again, it goes back to my initial point. Sustainability. Is this something that it's going to last? And if indeed it's going to last, success for Vini Jr. this season is also going to depend on the positions that he takes. And I don't understand for the life of me why he doesn't get the fact that if he finds more variety in terms of the position that he takes closer to Kylian Mbappe in more central positions, that they're actually going to be able to combine, and he's actually going to be able to find options for himself and for others far more consistently than he does when he's just parked on the left-hand side. Evidence of that, where the goal today by Mastantuono, where Vini is central, he's the one that lays it off. His own goal comes from him being in a central position, they regain possession of the ball higher up the field, and now he's going straight to goal. These are things that go along with what Craig was saying. Go on and play. Play your game, but play the game within the structure of a group, within the structure of what makes this team successful. And Kylian Mbappe and Vini Jr. playing together and actually utilizing each other makes this team better.
Inter 1, Arsenal 3 then is the score in Italy. What do we learn from this game, anyone? Frank is with us.
Somebody who's not talked.
Robbo. Frank, go on, you watch this.
I found Arsenal very impressive. What I saw is 4 strange games because no build-up, rebounds, deflection, whatever it could have been. But at the end, a good game to watch. Very interesting. I don't think there is a penalty on Lautaro Martinez. He was complaining about a little slap that he received, but I was unfortunate, and I think it wasn't a penalty for me. But otherwise, I found 2 big teams fighting and. Could be contender for the Champions League, but Arsenal overall were very dominant and deserved to win that game.
Inter aren't going to be contenders, are they, Frank?
Excuse me?
They're not going to be contenders, Inter. You didn't mean that.
I don't know that. I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
Okay, don't worry.
I think Arsenal, you look at 3 of the teams have played, Atletico Madrid, Bayern, and Inter. They are 3 of what you would call, the stronger sides in the competition. And whichever team he's put out, and we've talked about this big squad that they have, and again there was changes today, was whatever team that they put out, they just look strong. Mm-hmm. Now, it's probably going to bring them a Premier League title, probably. How much else it will bring them, that remains to be seen. I think the question going into the weekend, if it is a question now, is with the return of Gabriel Jesus and his 2 goals and how he's looked quite sharp recently, is he now going to be against Man United at the weekend, the starting striker? I think that's kind of the only question you would have. Is
He's got to be though, hasn't he?
I think he does have to be, yes, if I'm being honest about it. I think he's got more strength to his bow at the moment than in general, than what Gyökeres has shown. He's obviously looking sharp. He brings different facets in terms of his movement. And if he's adding the goals to that, I think he has to start. We know what Gyökeres has been about this season. And he hasn't always had the service that he would have wanted, but it's hustle, bustle and chasing the channel and fighting with defenders. And if we're being honest, it looks kind of a little out of place in this Arsenal side. So I wouldn't be surprised if Gabriel Jesus started up front at the weekend with Gyökeres on the bench. But as a general rule of thumb, this Arsenal side, I don't think at this moment in time, anybody from back to front in Europe looks stronger. But that doesn't mean they're going to win the competition. It just means currently they've got several players for all these different, from defence to midfield to the forward line. They've got a bulk of players they can put in, and it doesn't really damage the performance too much.
Yeah, you make 7 changes to a side that won in the Premier League, and yet you win this as convincingly as they did. As Craig's 100% right, this is the most complete squad you've got in Europe.
And I think that is the headline for me if I'm Arsenal, and anybody that follows this team. When we were previewing this match, the conversation was, well, what is Arteta going to do? Is he going to rotate the team? Because, it's Manchester United over the weekend, and it's far more important, that match, because of the Premier League, and that their status would not have changed in Champions League because they have been perfect up until this point. Well, he says, I'll rotate my team, and it really doesn't matter. It's depth. Squad depth is something Craig just mentioned, something you just mentioned, and it is one thing to say that you have it, it's another thing to use it and to use it in a productive manner, an efficient manner. And I think Mikel Arteta started Gabriel Jesus today with the idea that Gyökeres will start on the weekend. But then you see a performance and you kind of go, well, I can also change my mind. Because the players that I'm putting out there in this part of squad depth are actually showing me that they can be better than the options that I was thinking for this specific weekend. And that is a great place to be as a manager. That is the most wonderful problem to have, where your decisions are made difficult because of those players that are getting opportunities are doing well with those opportunities. And those that have been starting are doing well when they start. It's a great place to be. Now it's up to the manager to not overthink it and actually make the choices that he needs to make in order to put this team in the best positions to win games.
Good to be an Arsenal fan at the moment.
You called them unwatchable at the weekend.
I call them unwatchable?
Boring.
I just said I don't get excited when an Arsenal game is
It's the same thing, isn't it?
I don't think so. I think it's a little bit of
Well,
spin,
it's
unnecessary spin on it.
It's borderline. You're basically saying they're borderline. You're basically saying they're Tottenham in red, aren't you?
That's it. Wow, that's not stretching. But overall, today they were great. Today is exactly what you want.
Oh, you're trying to appease the...
Not at all. I still get excited watching them today.
Can't beat Nottingham Forest. Oh, they're unwatchable. Oh, great now.
He's in a mood.
I'm not in a mood. It was only a few days ago, and I remember you sitting here. They're the best team in England. Unwatchable.
But what if I said there's different?
Go to somebody on the bird. Go to somebody else.
Told you he was angry. Robbo, it's great to be an Arsenal fan at the moment, isn't it?
It certainly would be if I was an Arsenal fan.
I'm not suggesting you were.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I know you hate everyone.
What I would say is that the good thing about Arsenal today, they had changes in the side, but what they showed a lot today, I thought, was resilience, because they didn't have it all their own way. When you look at the stats, I think it was even amount of shots. But Thuram and Lautaro Martinez were excellent today with their back to goal. They kept on switching the play out to Di Marco down one side, and it was Enrique down the other side. So there was lots of good play from Inter. But Arsenal showed resilience when things weren't quite going their way. They defended for their lives. Midfield players tracked back when they needed to. They got players out in the wide areas. And also, I have to say, Saka today was absolutely magnificent. Inter couldn't cope with him. They tried marking with Di Marco to start with. He then pushed higher up the field to go against Timber, and they brought the centre Bastoni out to mark Saka. He went past him easily. Saka was almost unplayable today. He was brilliant both with his left foot and his right foot. He was the key player.
God, he really was watching that game, wasn't he?
He wasn't, he?
I mean, there's too much flapping around in front of us.
Arsenal are favourites to win the Champions League. Sporting defeating PSG by 2-1. Let's go to the Frenchman, shall we, on the panel. Frank, how big a deal is this?
Well, it's always a big deal. It's always a big deal when you are the former winner, and with the dominance that you showed at that game. Losing that game is it's unexplainable, and Luis Enrique tried after the game to explain that he was very happy with the players and the involvement of the players. What they did on the field was great. But the purpose of a game is to win the game when you have the chance to win, and they didn't. And Sporting with few got a lot. Just to say, it's their 4 wins out of 4 at home, and they don't show too much, but they're very effective. But Paris Saint-Germain with a lot, they got almost nothing today. Well, they all got nothing. They got 0 points. But also, I tried to understand, because they played very well the first half. There was only one team. It was a one-way traffic, and I think they scored 3 goals. They were all disallowed, but they were there. It's not like players were slow. They didn't try. No, they were doing everything. But what I feel is like they might be overconfident. That's something they believe too much in their football, that they are punished because maybe they're not forcing what they have to force, and it's why I think they didn't win that game. Of course, what they showed is that they were far superior than Sporting, but again, the result of a game is to win a game, and scoring only 1 goal in that game, it's not enough, and it's maybe why. Well, it's certainly why they lost that game.
Frank, have they dropped off from last season, or we won't really know that until they start get going in the second half of the season?
We still have to wait, because again, the first half, away from home, they were so good, and they could have scored like 3 or 4 goals, and the game would have been over, and we'd have said, okay, Paris Saint-Germain is back to its best. So maybe it's a lesson to learn from still a young squad, and everything's going to get for the best. But yeah, it was, let's say it's an accident. But you have to pay attention to what happened, and Luis Enrique will have to be sure that team doesn't do that again, because soon you gotta face a big team, a better team, and if you lose, you're gonna get out of the competition. So you will have to score the goal that you should score and have to score. It's still not a big deal because they're gonna get through, and we'll see after that. And it's a big team, really. What they show in terms of football, how effective they can be, you can be optimistic about that. But as everybody, you can be punished if you don't finish the job.
You can be optimistic as well about Frank returning for extra time, along with Robbo, Craig and Ali, to answer your questions over on YouTube. I just wanted to get
You still have to have to have an effect. You still have to have a shot at goal, don't you?
I just from someone who's played the game, like, what do you make of this? Do you understand? Trying to bend the rules to your favour?
No,
is it acceptable?
this is just kind of lawless nonsense. You can't have this. This is the amateur leagues where players are going for a pint after the game, and they've got, it's their day job. This is the elite tournament in AFCON for the continent of Africa, and we have this. I mean, as petty as it is, that there wasn't an isolated incident.
Yes.
You can't have that. You just can't, and you can't have a team walking off because they don't like a refereeing decision either. So there's a lot of people in the wrong here, but that's ridiculous. That is absolutely, as petty as it looks, it is ridiculous. And if there's not repercussions for this and other things that have gone on at this tournament, then it'll just go on again. But how can you have people almost fighting with each other behind the goal when games are going on over a goalkeeper's towel? It is just ridiculous.
What's striking, Frank, is that this seems premeditated.
Yeah, that's crazy, and it's been done many, many times, and I don't still understand the reason why it happened, and I don't know why the towel could be a danger for anybody or something more important for a goalkeeper. Yeah, Edouard Mendy needed that because it was raining during the final and he needs to dry his gloves, and which is understandable, and we've seen that for so many decades. I remember in our time goalkeepers having their towels, and that was fine. I don't know who decided that, but to see a substitute, a Moroccan substitute, marking the second goalkeeper outside the field, it's something I've never seen in my life, and I don't understand why. And to see the little boys, taking care of the ball, getting outside, marking, tackling the second goalkeeper is even worse. What kind of world we see that? And I don't understand the reason. If they gave us a good reason for that, to explain that, I will maybe understand, but I think there isn't. So why do you do that?
The match commander, if they even have one, but they should, because every big game has like a match commander. You see he's above and beyond the referees and the fourth official. And his job is to spot anything untoward that's going on, be it, coming racially or whatever it is, coming from the stands, or incidents like this. He has to bring it to the referee's attention, and he has to stop the game briefly, and they have to sort that out. And they have to throw these culprits out, right? If they continue to do that, which they did, if they throw them out the ground. But you have to stop the game to sort this out. And that's down to the people that are in a position out with the referee, who's probably trying to referee the game.
Yeah.
So the match commander should have spotted this, they should have stopped the game, and they should have dealt with it. They did not, and it just continued and continued.
The damning evidence is that it wasn't just in the final.
Yeah.
So if indeed there is a match official that is in charge of making sure that things are going the way that they're supposed to, and you see that this has happened in the semifinal, you would assume that it would be one of the things that you would think about and be very aware for the final. But that wasn't the case. And I take it a step even further than that. We heard and saw what was a very hollow statement by Gianni Infantino. It's like, well, AFCON has to do something. If only there was somebody in a position of power who leads a governing body, who oversees all of this, that could actually make a decision, that could actually punish teams. Wouldn't it be FIFA? Huh? Yes, working together with AFCON, but this is Gianni Infantino who's seeing it happen. And I'm not saying that you make that decision right then and there, but you can't come out with a statement that's like, oh, I'm embarrassed by this. Somebody else deal with it. No, you are part of the issue. You have to deal with it too.
Robbo, am I naive, a bit soft in thinking that I understand ball boys maybe get instructions to do this, but is there no one within the Morocco squad going over there and saying, look, just we don't need this. Don't bother with this. We're better than this.
Absolutely, it's pathetic from everybody. Whoever told them to do it is in the wrong. The ball boys for doing it are in the wrong, but and the players as well to allow it to happen. You know, this it's pathetic. It really is, and there has to be repercussions. And Ali's absolutely right. It has to come from the very top because probably AFCON aren't going to do anything about it. So it's got to be FIFA, and they've got to get and sort it out. Who are the culprits? And, you know, ban them or do whatever they can to have the repercussions. But that's pathetic. We get upset when ball boys for home games throw the ball in a bit quicker for throw-ins and then they don't do it for the away team. We get upset by that. This is another level completely.
But they don't do that anymore. It's one of the reasons they got away from it. They have these multi-ball things. They sit on a cone.
Yep.
So they don't even have this in a lot of countries now because of certain scenarios. Let's be honest. By the time Brahim Diaz took that penalty kick, the time he left his foot before it got to Mendy, he could have went behind the goal, dried his gloves on a fire somewhere. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's just, it's not a good look. It's not a good look.
I tried to get some researches, the reason why they were doing that. I thought maybe the coach, Regragui, the Moroccan coach, asked the ball boys, or we even saw Hakimi throwing the towel away. So why the press didn't ask the players, Moroccan players, or the coach, why they were asking for that? Because, again, there is no reason. I don't get it. And it's like they were more focused on that than on the game, because I mean that's just a detail, and that's appalling. They didn't need that, and that's insane. But we don't have any answer. Nobody has been asked why they were so upset with Edouard Mendy's towel. I want to know why, really.
And it's something that I mentioned briefly yesterday, but I think it's worth repeating. The ball boys don't do this on their own.
No, of course not.
And this is fanatically chasing players down the field.
Yeah.
So obviously, they have been sat down behind the scenes and they've been told to do this. And to do this, not only sat down behind the scenes, they were being told to do this while the game was going on. Hey, remember what we told you? You got to go and get the towel. And you just follow a path. Yeah. And you just follow that trail and see where that trail leads. And as soon as you get to the person in a position of leadership who then directed all of this to happen, that's the person you start with and then work your way down.
It's A Few Good Men too. That's what it sounded like.
Yes, definitely.
Good movie.
Somebody ordered a code red.
Exactly. Can't handle the truth. Right, there we go. Gab and Jules' show is available now. They break down everything as well as Towelgate on the latest edition of their show. There's the big table. So Arsenal are guaranteed a place in the next round. Of course, they look like as well they will finish without that playoff matches. Can anybody read that? Then that's impressive.
I'll have a number 27. What's that? The
number 27.
Is that the egg fried rice?
Union cent. There we go. More on that.
Who's that?
More on that, of course, tomorrow. Yes, there's some matches tomorrow.
Right, which ones are we not watching?
Okay, right.
That one, that one, that one.
Meanwhile,
that one, and that one, and that one.
But it is an interesting time. Marseille taking on Liverpool. Here's Arne Slot.
Yep.
I can't help asking, but what do you think about the rumors about Xabi Alonso at Liverpool? Does they hurt you, and do you feel the rising pressure from your fans who are booing their team? and maybe you've talked to Javi. Maybe he called you. Sorry.
Yeah, he
Thank
called
you.
me. He called me and asked, what do you think about the team? Because I'm going to take over in 6 months. So can you tell me a little bit more? Or maybe earlier, maybe he takes over tomorrow. No. This is one of the most weirdest questions I've ever got. Yeah, what's there to say to your answer? I'm working here now for a little bit more than 1.5 years, and I really like my work over here. Won the league last season, struggled more in the league this season. That's also obvious. So yeah, what's there left to say?
Oh, there we go.
I mean, what can he? I mean, look, just say you're under pressure. You need to win games. Is Xabi Alonso called you?
Like, that's how it works.
Hey, Xabi here. Not going too well, big guy, is it? You know what I mean? I'm hovering. You may have noticed I'm out. I'm out at Madrid, and I hear you're struggling a lot. I mean, come on. Look, he just needs to win games. He just needs to pick up the slack. You know, get through to the end of the season, however it is, and he knows that. You know, it's unlikely, barring a disaster, that he's going to be out of job between now and the summer. But next year and the summer and next season is going to be huge for him. Huge. I don't expect Liverpool to have a knee-jerk reaction and sack him. But he won't get that kind of leeway in 12 months' time. But yeah, there's Xabi Alonso's out of work. Xabi Alonso played at Liverpool. Xabi Alonso has had a successful career up until Real Madrid with Bayer Leverkusen. Those rumours are going to swirl around. But has Xabi Alonso phoned you? No. He should just have said to that guy, just shut up.
Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time.
What do we think about this Champions League thing, by the way?
Frank Leboeuf is here.
Frank's
Craig
here,
Burnley,
Robbo's here.
Everybody's
been very angry today.
Robbo's here as well. Robbo got angry today, which is always funny for us because once
he's the one that held the show up.
Yes, he did. You were late, Robbo.
No, we don't have to go over this all again. Somebody forgot to plug me in, so I was sitting here for half an hour.
What, you plugged? Somebody plugs you in?
So you could see me.
You got like a socket in your
Yes.
back?
That's it. Past 10 o'clock, you've got to charge him up. We run out of juice from there.
Yeah. Just put straight in my back. Into my back, into the computer. That's what happens.
And Frank, what's under your shirt today? What are you advertising?
My sponsor.
Right,
So,
okay. We don't have to show
you
us. We
need
know.
to show
Yes,
you.
thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
Which loss for City is...
Yeah.
All right.
Robbo, which loss for City is worse, the derby or today?
I would say the derby because they were totally outplayed and they're outplayed today, but it was a much bigger game. I think they're still qualified for the Champions League. They've just lost the title by losing to Manchester United, and they were torn apart. They looked sluggish. All the things that we said about Manchester City last year when they weren't playing particularly well and they weren't good at defending in midfield and people could run off the back of them, all those things happened at the weekend and they couldn't control the game, mainly because the centre-backs aren't particularly good on the ball. But I thought the performance against Manchester United was so poor it was worse than tonight.
Yeah, agreed? Mm-hmm. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Good. Has Pep lost his step, Frank?
Well, he lost it a while ago for me, and it's been 2 years that I've been questioning his way of rethinking the football that he was successful with, but doesn't work anymore. And if he didn't lose his step, I think he has to, because he's a very smart person and he knows the football, he has to do something and to react about that, because the tiki-taka doesn't work anymore. And yes, he has injuries, but he is the coach of Manchester City and he has 2 squads, so that's his duty to find a way to sort out the problem.
This question is, did the turf actually affect Manchester City today, or is that no excuse for their performance?
Well, turf is not ideal. Obviously not. But that doesn't begin to explain the lack of I would suggest, energy of Manchester City. And some of the mistakes that they were making today defensively, in the first goal, yes, Max Alane gets himself out of position, goes to challenge a ball that he's never going to get to. But Manchester City does well enough to get numbers behind the ball. And I'll just go back to something that I think is a problem for this group in general, just basic defending. I'm not talking about elite defending. I'm talking about mid-table, just normal defending. You got numbers behind the ball. Now, who can score this goal? Well, the guy who's at the far post, that's the only player from Bodo Glimt. And everybody's just ball watching. Nobody pays attention to this guy over here. And the same thing happens over and over and over again. The very basic principles of defending, Manchester City get them all wrong. A lot of the time, that has nothing to do with the turf.
Luton Town? Plastic pitch back in your day, was it?
Sorry?
Did Luton Town have a plastic pitch back in your day? Old man, can you hear me? Yeah. Yes, they did. What was that like playing there, my love? Was it all right?
Okay.
Was that different? Did you look forward to that?
No, because well, I don't know what the difference is in a modern day synthetic pitch and the old, what do we call it then?
Like plastic pitch, what?
Yeah.
AstroTurf.
AstroTurf.
AstroTurf. If you need some word in English, I can help you out.
Well, those old pitches at QPR had it as well, and Luton. The only thing I can remember is the bounce of the ball, but that, I mean, we're talking a lot.
What is it? What's the difference?
It's a completely I saw it today a little bit, and a couple of passes been played, and it just bounces up.
Right.
Like rather than skid across the grass, and it's kind of bobbling, but you just couldn't figure out the bounce of the ball. If a long ball coming through, it would sort of pop up, and then if you made a tackle, oh my God. You just skin's coming off. But I think that's changed now.
Right.
With these fields, I believe, I don't know.
Yeah.
You may have noticed, I haven't played on one of these for quite some time.
No?
So yeah, I hated them.
Yeah.
I hated them. I don't know why Luton and QPR did it, because it's not the weather, is it? Although the pitches back in the day certainly weren't very good. But they were playable. And it wasn't the way. Go on, Robbo.
Yeah, no, the rebound
yeah,
is
the pitches
different.
were
That's for sure. Sorry. The rebound is different, that's for sure. And even now it's different. And he can either slide or rebound too much, and it's completely different from a normal pitch. And it should be forbidden for me. Even in Norway, anywhere, it should be forbidden because it's too dangerous still. It's better than what we have done, but it's still not a football pitch.
I think it can't be in places like Norway for this time of year. I don't think it would matter how much undersoil heating they had. I think it gets so cold there. Well, you should know that.
Why would I know that? I'm not undersoil heating expert of Norway.
Well, it gets so cold there, I just think it's impossible for them to get games on.
Right.
To get games to be playable, week in, week out. It's not just the Champions League.
Get Jan on the phone. Ask Jan, he'll know all about it.
So I don't know.
But again, it doesn't begin to explain Manchester City's struggle today.
That's nothing to do with it.
Or Rodri, for example, when he goes and tries to challenge him, what ended up being the third goal. That has nothing to do with the turf and everything to do with Manchester City.
If you think I'm pulling a face, I'm not. I've just got this chili con carne, he's coming back on me.
Lovely. That's pleasant for Ali.
Yeah. Excellent.
This big brought in this chili con, it's just coming.
Frank, do you want to add anything more?
No, I will let Robbo talk.
Wow, okay.
If he wants to say something.
I'm not sure if he's still charged, Robbo.
Are we talking about the AstroTurf still? Yeah. There was two other teams that had it. Preston North End, who I didn't play against, and Oldham Athletic.
Oh, yeah.
Who, before they came into the Premier Law, the old First Division as it was then, They played on a plastic pitch and they used it very well under Joe Royle. And they got to a League Cup final, I think, beating West Ham over 2 legs when I was playing for West Ham. And they were a good team, but they knew how to play the pitch, and it was really difficult. Pitches have improved. Those, whatever they call 3G pitches, are vastly superior to what they were, but it's still not easy to play on.
Question for Robbo. Do you see Arsenal winning the the Champions League? They look the most balanced side across Europe with pretty solid squad depth as well.
Yes, they've got a massive squad. They've shown some resilience tonight against what was quite a decent Inter performance at times. They've got a good understanding defensively when they've got their best team out, but they all could bring other players in and do a good job. You'd still say Jesus, Gyökeres, are they the best centre forwards in European football? Probably not. So that's the only one area of weakness. But if Saka's playing at his best and Trossard's doing really well and Eze comes into the side, the key player for me is Declan Rice. He's been magnificent for Arsenal since he's been there, and he's probably in that position one of the best in the world at the moment.
Anybody who sends a question in, it's not a coherent question or coherent sentence, and it is grammatically incorrect, should not make it onto this show.
We might not get many questions.
Wow.
I have a question, Dan.
Yes, Frank.
Sorry.
Yes, artificial.
What UCL stands for? I mean, the U. I got the CL, but the U, what it stands for?
UEFA Champions League.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
That's okay.
Thank you very much.
That's all right, no problem.
I will sleep
Frank.
less
You're
stupid
I really
tonight.
think UEFA started with an E.
I don't buy this Madrid performance as some Arbeloa magic. As happy as I am for another win, does this show these players should definitely be held more responsible for not performing a few weeks ago?
Xabi Alonso watches the show. Didn't think he'd tweet in.
He's on the photo slot. He's ringing up Slot going, hello. What do you think?
What?
What do their questions say? Does it show the players are more responsible than anybody else for what's been happening this season?
There is good use of commas and...
Yeah.
Are they always?
I don't know.
Well, that was your question.
Well, for example,
Aren't the
Manchester
players
United, Amorim was stubborn with his back three. Someone comes in and kind of sorts that out. So that's not necessarily the player's question. Problem, is it?
Sorted it out for now.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. No, I get that. I'm not buying the Madrid. We'll buy the Madrid, in 6 weeks' time if this is continued.
Yes.
Or let's see whether they revert back to type. I don't know. We don't have the answer to that yet. They've played two teams that have, one team in Levante who are struggling, who sat in, and another team in Monaco who were too open. And they got...
Villarreal at the weekend will be a good litmus test.
Sorry?
Villarreal at the weekend will be a good litmus test as to where we are.
All right. Well done. Thanks for that.
Which you can see live on ESPN Plus. Coverage starts at 2:30.
By the way, Arbeloa hasn't done all that much in terms of making this team different than what it was under Xabi Alonso.
There's nothing radical, is there?
No, it's not, so it's not Arbeloa magic just yet. This is, as it has been and will continue to be, on the players. And the responsibility will be on the players.
Final question, Robbo. If defending in the Premier League is not what it used to be, then why are there so many 0-0 draws and low-scoring matches?
Because too many teams don't understand that the way to play football is to pass it forward and get as many runners in behind as you possibly can. When there's chance to play the ball forward, too many teams still pass square and backwards. They switch the play and they've got open space to run into and they go back again. So even though the defending's not good enough, sometimes teams don't play forward enough. There's not enough forward runs, and that's why you get some boring 0-0 draws. Not so much because of the good defending, but the teams in possession aren't positive enough.
A sensible answer to end today's extra time.
You can unplug yourself now.
Yes, yeah, try and be on time next time. ESPN FC returns tomorrow.
Dear.
Liverpool against Marseille.
Well, we'll just not have him back on. If he's going to be late, I can't be diddled with starting the show 5 minutes late.
Wow.
Right.
Right.
Start without him, I said.
Right, you finished?
Yeah.
More happiness tomorrow.